For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Blueberry. Is it Blueberry? Is that really how you say it? Because I've got a BlackBerry in front of me. But anyway, so apparently we're on a whole bunch of different podcast apps, and we're on Fleek because it's lit. And I really have no idea what I just said. You know what? I spent the day with a bunch of kids. If you heard our show last week, right? Dreams Take Flight. I mean, these kids were a little bit younger than using terms like fleek and lit. But it's really interesting when I get together with a group of like 20-somethings, millennials, I guess they're called. And, we had a family get-together for Easter. And I'm listening to my cousin, she's 17, and a couple other ones are about 15, 16. I felt really old, like I didn't know what they were talking about. I am becoming that old person that I used to laugh at. It's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit sad. All right, there's been a lot that's happened since we had one of these episodes where I can just shoot the breeze with you, namely the college admissions scandal, right? Lori Loughlin, or Laughlin, depending on how you want to say it, which day of the week, and Felicity Huffman. I have some thoughts about parents buying their kids' way into school. I wouldn't be flattered by that, and I'll tell you why in just a little bit. And also, when it comes to social media, if there's a family event, are you cool with getting invited online, or would you much rather have a personal interaction with whoever is hosting the party? All right, I got some thoughts on this, don't worry. And feel free to give me a shout anytime during your listening of this show. You can email live@jbonair.com. That's live@jbonair.com. The fun begins right after this break on The Scribble.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so family, you would hope, is a little bit more personal than random friends, and I'm putting friends in quotation marks on social media. So I missed a family get-together because I didn't RSVP, or as Karen Walker on Will and Grace would say, RSTD, that I didn't reply that I was going. And this was a group or a family event or whatever you call it. And again, I'm totally not into social media. I couldn't give two craps about getting an invitation to a baby shower or christening or whatever it was that I missed. And, I'm not sure if that relative is listening to this. Probably not. Nevertheless, I just feel it's way more personal. Now, I'm not saying that I want, the handwritten card in my mailbox and a return envelope and a stamp and, I'm not saying that. But even if it's like a text or a phone call, something that's just direct to me and not that you're going through a list and checking off my name. Okay, I'm going to send the invitation to him, her, him, her. No, that doesn't work for me. And so I didn't go to this family get-together. And, there was there was outrage from my mom, really, not from anybody else. I blend in at my family get-togethers. I'm the star of the family, but I hide in the corner, or, people don't even realize if I'm there or not. So it was my parents, you noticed that I wasn't there. And I just said, like, I didn't even know about this thing. And they said, well, yeah, it was on Facebook, blah, blah. Oh, I'm sorry. So just because it's on Facebook, I naturally have to... Oh, well, of course it was, Mom. Yeah, sure. And I just don't. I don't look to that for my social gatherings, that like my interactions. It's just not what I do. Sorry, I was just picking like a stray hair off of my forearm. And anyway, so I didn't go to this family get-together because I didn't see the invite. And what do you think about that? If you're tuned into social media, okay, but I just feel like it's something different if it's a family member. I don't know. I still, when we do like my brother's birthdays or whoever in our family, I still get that, even if it's just a text or if it's a quick phone call, hey, you know, we're going to be doing dinner on Sunday at 5:30, da-da-da-da. Okay, great. And I guess we do emails as well. One of the sides of the family has sort of like an email group chain kind of a thing, and it's an email blast basically. So if we have what's called the summer birthdays. So all of us who have summer birthdays, we have just one big party at the end of the summer. So, you know, there's going to be that email blast that goes out. It's still coming direct to me, and I think the expectation that people use email on a regular basis is valid. And I guess it's valid, too, that you use social media on a regular basis, but I don't. Like, even I look at my Instagram. 5 days ago is when I posted the last thing, because, again, and I've said this many times on the show, I don't think that you give two shits about what I'm doing at any given minute of the day. I don't even care what I'm doing any minute of the day for the most part. So I'm one of those people who, I'm not full of myself. I really don't believe that you care to see what restaurant I'm at, how my shoes are tied today. Well, I'm not wearing shoes right now, but I don't believe that, you know, everything is social media. As it is, I have never even put my real personal information. So from day one, when I signed up on Facebook, and I was a late bloomer to Facebook, I have never used my real, you know, phone number, birthday, anything like that. And it's not, this is, like I said, long before the whole, you know, scandal of them selling your data or whatever. I just didn't trust it right from the beginning. And so on any of these social media platforms, I've never put my correct birthday or anything like that. Watch, I'm probably going to get kicked off now, right? But yeah, I don't know. So send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Have you ever missed a family get-together just because you didn't see the invitation online? Again, reach out to me if you want me to come. If you want me there, let me know. Yeah. Anyway. And I also feel like this old curmudgeon story that I just told you. We have a crowded bed in my house. I have two very large dogs, and one of them is 11 years old, the other one is 7, and we've kind of just had our positions. You know, we basically, all of us. There's 4 of us in the bed. All of us start out laying in the same position. And as the night goes on, you know, you roll over to the side and, you know, your arms around your partner, and then you wake up, or halfway through the night you kind of roll over and then their arms are around you. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just a weird kind of a thing. But with the dogs, it's interesting too, because one of them is essentially by my right leg. From my knee to my foot is where one of them lays, like in that area, I'm saying in proximity to how I'm laying. And then the other one is basically at our feet. And then somehow in the night, you know, all of us shift and everybody moves around. And there have been times lately when I wake up and there's a dog in between us, and I have a dog on my neck, like a head resting on my neck. Now the other day I had a dog head resting on my hip. And I was laying on my right-hand side, and so it was then my left hip that was up, you know, in the air. And when I woke up, this is where I'm talking about the old feeling. I had this, like, incredible pain, almost like my hip had popped out, and I was like, I almost just need to do, like, a hip thrust to the right or something to sort of, like, pop it into place. And for about 2 days, I had the worst, like, hip pain, and because of the dog laying on it. So it goes back to that whole thing of, you know what, you stretch your body, but just the slightest little thing. And then the other, so just as that was Monday, it's Friday now, so that was Monday. Now Wednesday, I was laying on the couch. I had a bit of a nap in the afternoon. from sort of mid-April to the beginning of May, we're on hiatus with our syndicated radio shows. I'm not taping anything, so I'm spending a lot of time at home. And I had a nap on the couch, and I guess my cell phone, my work phone was on the coffee table. And I happened to wake up and I noticed the light was blinking, and so I reached for it. And again, my back is up against the back of the couch. I've got a dog, just to my left, so basically between me and the floor or the edge of the couch. And so, he's laying there. I kind of hold him back with one arm and then reach so I don't push him off the couch. And all of a sudden I feel like this pop in my shoulder. And I was like, just reaching for my phone. I'm injuring myself now too. I'm 36 years old, everybody, turning 37 in August. And it's just, I don't know. There's something wrong with my body. And when you look at it on the surface, everything looks fine. I have a decent body. I'm very lucky. But yeah, man. And I can't even say it's about stretching. I'm just laying there and reached. I reached. Ugh. All right. Now, if you are a younger kid who's going through college or university, the college admissions scandal, right? Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. I'm going to tell you my thoughts on that coming up right after this on the Scribble.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. Just during that break, I was on Twitter. I was on the Twitter. Just I go on that rant about hating social media. But for my job, I have to. And so we have TweetDeck, which kind of is like a scroll of, I'm already like, it's a running scroll. Like I call it a slot machine because it's sort of just rolling as new tweets, people that you follow, all of their new tweets are coming up. And I had to stop it here because it says, stealing a tweet, it's one thing to steal a meme, but it takes a special kind of asshole to steal a tweet. Are people really that possessive of their tweets now? Like, I can appreciate somebody having a good, sarcastic one-liner. In fact, I end up following a bunch of people that kind of just do those because it gives me a chuckle, right? I just happen to... You can see all these things, bashing Trump and news stories and blah, 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 and all of a sudden there'll be that one sarcasm or one sarcastic tweet. But, okay, so it's one thing to steal a meme, but it takes a special kind of asshole to steal a tweet. It's almost like you're plagiarizing work, oh, that's my book that I wrote, and you're really, come on. I don't know. I guess that's somebody who takes pride in their tweeting. Okay. In the last segment, I mentioned that I was going to talk about the whole college admissions scandal thing. A lot of people, either there's two sides to this story. You're either thinking they're really good parents, that they're going to buy their kids' way into school, or you're thinking that's really crummy, let the kid do it for themselves. I'm of the belief that, I would actually be pissed off at my parents, because to me that says that you don't think that I can get into college or university on my own. And so it's, sure, I would love having come from money. I didn't. I grew up in one of Winnipeg's poorest neighborhoods, and I didn't have the luxury. I remember the biggest purchase that I made was when I was 13 years old, and I wanted a television in my room, and my mom said, well, you need to find money to get that. And so I got a job out at the lake at the little store that they had out there when I was I was about 13 or 14 years old. I made $800 that summer and was able to buy myself a TV. TVs were fairly expensive back in the day. And that was sort of my sense of achievement and accomplishment and responsibility. I felt grown up. And I think that, if I just, mommy and daddy, just pay. It's one thing to pay my tuition. I would have loved that. They certainly didn't even do that for me. But to buy my way in. And I think that would be a bigger conversation that I would have with my parents, where it's like, what, you don't think that I'm smart enough or good enough to get into the school? And I don't even think the outrage is that, these kids weren't they were taking the place of somebody who was deserving of being there, right? Or who was, I did go to college where it was like this selection process, and even then they tried to make it seem like, well, we only accept 60 people into the program, into communications and journalism and advertising and PR. And even then, it was kind of like you had to have a portfolio, you had to write a test, you had to come into an interview. It wasn't just like, oh, here's my transcript of my high school grades and exams and things like that. It was a special selection process. And so I felt great because I aced it. And I had heard from so many people that they didn't get in on the first go-round, right? The first time they applied, they didn't get in because, again, they're only accepting 60, 65, whatever it was at the time. And there was that sense of accomplishment that, okay, you know what, I did this all on my own. My parents didn't help me with my application. My parents didn't help me with tuition. My parents didn't, they didn't do anything, I'm saying, to get me into the university. Of course, my mom's a teacher, so obviously my parents did things as I was growing up. But I'm saying specifically to get me into college. I didn't have that. It was kind of like I was on my own. Now, sure, I was still living at home, so that saved me a bit of money, right, than having to pay rent and for school tuition. But certainly, when it comes to the actual element of school, my parents had no hand in it. And I did have to drop out after my first year. I had to drop out of college because I couldn't afford to go. I didn't want to be in debt forever like two of my brothers were. I only have two brothers. Both of my brothers were. And it was a decision that I made. Would I have wanted my parents to foot the bill? I guess, again, tuition is one thing. Paying my tuition is completely different than buying the way into school. And that would just be a much bigger conversation with my parents as to, why don't you think that I could do this on my own? There's a problem here. And that would be, I would take that as my parents think I'm dumb or not good enough. And look at me now, best-selling author and on the radio for 13 years, and life is good for me. Anyway, tell me your thoughts. Again, I think on the surface, most people, the quick reaction is, oh my God, I'd love for my parents to find a way to get me into school. What would you be offended, though? Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. The Billboard Music Awards were handed out Wednesday night. Again, these award shows, when they do them midweek like that, it's always a little bit strange. And another year, the ratings have gone down in the key demographic, or at least 18 to 49, I believe is what it is for television. And the actual ratings, though, were up just barely, I think, was it 100,000 maybe? So it didn't go up that much. There was a slight bump. But our award shows played out. We have this discussion during award show season, which is January, February, and sometimes, depending on the year, a little bit into early March with the Oscars. And I still have the belief that, some of these songs that were nominated, I am over them 8 months ago, sort of a thing, right? Like, it's just, okay, that artist already has 3 new songs out since then. So I don't know that I'm still attached to it. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, I was like, oh, that song was a year? That seems so long ago, right? When they're performing it or it's nominated or whatever it is. And again, that's just the type of fast, disposable society that we're in, right? Is that, we love it today and boom, 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 it's overplayed because now we have it on our phones or, wherever we go. And we hear it so much that now we're over it. Completely different story when I started my radio shows 13 years ago, when people would still request a song because you really didn't have another place to hear it, right? Like, even now when I do this solicitation, I do the call out for send in your song request if there's a song you want to hear. Now, they can click off and go to YouTube and type in the song or go to their phone and listen to it, right? You don't have to request a song anymore on radio. And so I think with the Billboard Music Awards and the AMAs, I know when I was there a couple years ago for the AMAs in Los Angeles, it was a whole bunch of like these YouTube stars on the red carpet too. And I felt, going back to that whole feeling old thing again, I really did. I felt old because I'm like, you're a YouTube star? I don't know who you like. Not a clue. So, are you over award shows? It's celebrities patting themselves on the back. That used to kind of be what was old about it, right? Oh, here we go, Hollywood giving itself trophies again. But is it more just kind of like, we don't have that emotional investment or that attachment to performers or to movies or to TV shows anymore? there's that loyalty when it comes to things like Game of Thrones. And again, I've never seen that show, but I've heard all about it. But you know, are you sitting there going, "Oh, I hope it wins an Emmy. Oh, I hope it wins an Emmy." Well, who cares about an Emmy, right? Especially now when we see that a show can be canceled and then still win awards, right? I mean, the award is really no indication of the show's success. It really isn't. Anyway, send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble, and again, thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud, iTunes. I experienced, the only way to describe it is an emotional roller coaster the other day, and thankfully it wasn't me. It was so bizarre. I honestly thought I was being put on. Okay. I'm already exhausted. I haven't even started telling you this story. I was at a meeting. I was at another company, not my company. We're working on a project for this spring. And so I go, they have a meeting there. There's a big boardroom, a bunch of us sitting around the table. And, we're having the conversation. There's dialogue back and forth. I wouldn't say that it was really, it wasn't really fun and, upbeat and back and forth. It was somewhat serious, okay? And, there was maybe the odd joke. It certainly wasn't an exciting, creative group of people. I'm not going to tell you what the project is or anything, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm bashing these people. But of their group of people, there was, I think, six. There were five of them, 6 of us in total. And I'm there. I'm the creative one. We're using my talent and platform for something. And so we're having some good dialogue back and forth. And then all of a sudden, I notice that this one woman sitting on the other side of the table, she kind of just all of a sudden pulls away, like just kind of isn't engaging in the conversation. Is just sort of sitting there, and suddenly looks really pouty, like there's something wrong. And out of nowhere, she just lets loose. You guys forgot that it was my birthday again. And a hush falls over the room. And, I'm kind of like, huh? And then I start to think, like, maybe this is a joke then? Like, is everybody going to start laughing right away? Like, did something happen? Is this a prank? Like, what is she talking about? And so she was actually serious. I guess apparently it was her birthday. And either she was expecting, like a birthday lunch or cupcakes or something. She just launches into this tirade that you forgot my birthday again, blah, blah, blah. And when I say crying, I mean literally crying. And I know what the word literally means. She was literally crying. And this has got to be the most awkward situation to be in, because one, I'm not part of your group. So you guys have some, other stuff going on down here. And again, I'm sitting there waiting for anybody in the moment to all of a sudden start laughing and be like, oh, yeah, good one. Or, oh, But she was actually serious. She was crying because her coworkers did not remember her birthday, or at least did not have something like sort of big and planned for her. And I thought, this is either like a really close workplace or she's just nuts. And, that's me editorializing. Maybe she's got other stuff going on in her life. But that was pretty ridiculous. I've been in many, 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 many meetings in my time. I have never experienced that. And then for the next, 20 minutes or so, it becomes this counseling session of oh, we've all got stuff going on, it's just so busy right now, and, oh, we've got this project, and, oh, we've got this, and, oh, I've been busy with, I've got my grandma who's, not well, and all of a sudden everybody's making excuses to try to console this millennium snowflake. Is that what they're called? And I was just like, wow. First off, here's the deal. I mean, I own my company. If you're ever going to all of a sudden lose it on me for not remembering your birthday, I'm going to say, you know what? Maybe we're focused on the job here. Maybe that can be a priority. And secondly, unless you tell me it's your birthday, it's not something really for me to remember. Like, I have a close staff. We've got a close group of people. But if you don't tell us that it's your birthday next Tuesday or whatever it is, I mean, we're not going snooping. Like, we're not, we're not searching your Facebook and all of a sudden going and doing that. Like, that's just not the kind of place it is. If we have a discussion and you say, like, hey, we should go out for my birthday, or, oh, what do you guys think about, okay, fine. But to expect us to remember next year that it is on April, blah, blah, or May or whatever, like, I think that's really unreasonable. And then to be, I swear to you, crying. This would be one of those moments that if it happened in public, people would grab their cell phone and start recording it because it was just so ridiculous. I'm serious. I don't go to I don't go to meetings with my phone. Like, I don't have it out on the table like other people do. I just thought this is too good. Like, this is like phone worthy. It was so awkward but delicious at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a part of you that kind of wants to be like, I'm just gonna sneak out here if you don't mind. It was wild. What do you think about this? If one of your coworkers has an emotional breakdown and just starts freaking out that none of you remembered their birthday, what would you do? Do you apologize? Do you then rush out and go and get a cake? Because how awkward is that then when you actually go and have to sing happy birthday, or, you sit around like, oh, okay, well, Princess got her cupcakes or whatever it is. I don't know. Anyway, send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. It was ridiculously, deliciously crazy. live@jbonair.com.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
That's right, on the Twitter at The Scribble Show. Jeremy Bradley back at the controls. Last week on the show, we were with Dreams Take Flight, Air Canada's really cool initiative. If you didn't hear the show, I encourage you to check it out. It was, what is this? It was episode 219 of The Scribble. And Air Canada has been doing this for 26 years, where they fill up a plane of kids, or they fill a plane with kids, and go down to a Disney property, either in Florida or California. And basically the kids have an entire day at Disney. So I was a media guest, and I've been for about 5-6 years. You get to the airport at about 3 in the morning, you board the plane at 4:30, take off at 5. It takes about 4 hours or so to get to. In my case, I went from Winnipeg, so we went to Orlando, we went to Disney World. So it takes about 4.5 hours or so to get to Orlando. We don't even go through the airport terminal. We basically kind of come to the a back runway or whatever, and there's these tour buses there that take you right to Disney. You basically get front of the line access with everything. These little passes that the kids get, and they just go on all the rides they want, and then get back on the bus as the sun is setting, and then get onto the plane and fly home. And it's the quietest flight. The flight there, loudest flight you've ever heard. Way back, quietest. Everybody is asleep. And then you get home like after midnight, and it's almost literally a 24-hour day if you don't fall asleep at all. But it's a great initiative, so check out the highlights. They're still online, dreams.jbonair.com, dreams.jbonair.com. Every year we have a bunch of web content with pictures and video and the audio. Some of the audio is on the website. So dreams.jbonair.com, Air Canada Dreams Take Flight. It's a really cool initiative. That is it for me. We've got 45 seconds or so. Feel free to give me a shout anytime. It's always awesome hearing from you. The email address, live@jbonair.com. That's live@jbonair.com. I will talk to you same time, same place next week. I think we've got some celebrity guests coming up in the next few weeks. And then we have that Phoenix tourism programming that was taped at the beginning of April. That is also coming up in the next few weeks. So it's another one of those great problems to have. So much content and not enough airtime. I will take that rather than having absolutely nothing to talk about and nothing to share with you. So my name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. Feel free, email me, tweet us, whatever you do on the social media. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat